you've never been to a gym before, you feel awkward at a gym, today we're gonna do a little gym walkthrough. Right when I first get to a new gym, I like to take a little walk around. There are really 5 main zones in every gym: free weights, machines, cardio, stretching, and locker rooms and washrooms. Let's start with the free weights area. So free weights are things like dumbbells and barbells. And usually in these areas, you'll also find a bunch of benches that can incline and decline, or flat benches. Now you'll notice that the weights are organized usually from heaviest to lightest, either left to right or top to bottom. The biggest thing when you're using dumbbells or barbells or these free weights is when you are using them, you're going to take a big step back away from the rack so that you're not blocking other people from using those free weights. Then of course when you put them back, make sure you put them in the correct order. Next up we have machines. Now there are hundreds of different types of machines, so I'm not going to go through them all, but for the most part the machines will have somewhere on them a little name of what the machine is and sometimes an explanation about how to use it. If not, you can just take a photo, upload it to ChatGPT and ask it, what the heck is this? How do I use it? Or you can Google it and find a little YouTube tutorial. Or you can ask a gym member for help. That's literally their job, is to help you figure out how to use these things. Now most machines are adjustable because there are lots of different bodies using these machines. They have to be adjustable for different sizes. I know some people feel intimidated by the idea of fiddling with the machine to try to figure out the right settings. First of all, just let me reassure you that every person who gets on a machine is going to have to adjust it, because the person who is just using it before you is probably not the same size as you. Also, on any given day, the same machine might feel a little bit different. So even though I've used this machine hundreds of times before, I might change the settings based on how I'm feeling on that particular day. So biggest tip here is to make some notes in your workout log about what settings you have used in the past. That makes it faster to just set it up. And to be open to just fiddling around and try not to be too embarrassed. Next up we have cables. So there are some cable machines with high pulleys only, some cables with low pulleys only, and some cable machines that have an adjustable pulley, so you can adjust the height. You might have to play with it a little bit to figure out how to adjust it. To use cables, you're gonna need an attachment, all right? And there are tons and tons of different attachments you can use. There are ropes, there are handles, there are bars. You're gonna have to play with the attachment that you use based on the exercise. Usually the attachments are somewhere close to the actual cable machine, but sometimes you'll find them also on a little table or area that's dedicated just to attachments. And sometimes attachments get moved around between different cable machines around the gym. So if there's an attachment that you really want to use but you can't find it, you might just have to go on a little scavenger hunt around your gym to try to find it. Now to add weight to a cable, you're going to use this little pin and select the weight that you see here. Now, important to note that some cable machines are listed in pounds, some are listed in kilograms. And every single machine that you use, every cable is going to feel just a little bit different based on whether it's a high pulley or low pulley, if it's adjustable, if they're long or short, and just depending on whether the machine has been oiled lately. Try not to get too frustrated by that. It's not really a big deal. All it means is that you might have to take an extra set or two to find the appropriate weight for you that day. All right, next up we have the squat rack. So the squat rack is where you're going to do things like your squats, deadlifts, and barbell rows. Some people find it poor etiquette to do things like barbell curls or shoulder presses in the squat rack because they are in such high demand. So for that, I would say use your best judgment. If it's a really busy time of day, then maybe don't do a barbell curl, which you could do somewhere else in the squat rack. But if it's really dead, like right now at the gym, it's probably fine. So the main pieces you'll find at a squat rack are barbell, J-hooks, plates, which are organized from lightest to heaviest, collars, which go on the end of your barbell to keep the plates in place, and barbell pads for comfort. Another piece of equipment worth mentioning is the Smith machine. So the Smith machine is a really versatile piece of equipment. It can do pretty much everything that a barbell can do. But there's a couple of differences. First is that a Smith machine is lighter. So these little bars here take some of the weight off of the barbell. So you can see it's not going to be the full weight of a barbell. That really makes it much easier for someone like a beginner who doesn't have the strength for a barbell yet to start learning technique. It's also a lot safer because it has these little built-in safety hooks. So if you get stuck and you can't lift the weight, you just hook it, so it's nice and safe. The only downside to the Smith machine is that your movement is very much limited to these lines, all right? And that's not generally how bodies actually move. So I don't recommend using the Smith machine for something like a squat or bench press where your body does have to move a little bit in space. But overall, this is a really nice piece of equipment to use as a backup plan to a barbell. And then our last area is the stretching area, which can also be doubled as an abs exercise area. You're gonna find a lot of different toys in this area based on your gym. Sometimes you'll find foam rollers, you might find bands, Swiss balls, medicine balls. It just depends on the gym. The biggest thing with the stretching area is just to be mindful of your space and how many people are around you. So if you're in just a little tiny space here, right, you don't want to be laying diagonally and blocking all that space. So just try to be mindful of the other people in the gym and make sure that everyone has space to use to stretch. All right, so that's the gym tour. Let's go over a little bit of gym etiquette because I think the etiquette is really where you start to feel more comfortable and less like you're in the way. Tip number one, the biggest thing in any gym is just to keep your area clean. Make sure that you are wiping down all of your equipment. There's usually some sanitizing stations around the gym. Make sure that you're wiping anything that you sweat on or anything that you've held and that you can spread your germs. And make sure to put your equipment away. Like I said, organizing the plates and dumbbells from heaviest to lightest. Tip number two is that anything that can be moved in a gym, you are allowed to move. All right, you can wheel a bench from one end of the gym to the other. You can use a barbell on the squat rack and move it to the bench press area. Anything goes, okay? If it can be moved, you're allowed to move it as long as you put it back where you found it. Because again, we don't want members having to run around the gym on little scavenger hunts looking for where things are supposed to be. Tip number three is that there are workout zones and there are walkways. So there are areas where you are gonna exercise and move, and then there are areas where you're traveling from one place to another. A good rule of thumb is to try to keep these walkways clear. So try not to do exercises in the walkway, try not to leave gym bags, water bottles, that kind of thing, obstructing the walkway. Tip number four is using markers. So let's say that you're using a piece of equipment and you have to step away for a minute, whether you're trying to go to the washroom or you have to superset with another exercise. If you leave something like a water bottle on this piece of equipment, that is going to signal to other members that you're still using this and you're gonna be back for it. Similarly, if you see a water bottle or if it's a towel or workout logbook, something, a phone on a piece of equipment, that's your clue that someone is still using this piece of equipment. Now, if you notice that someone has left a bottle, but you haven't seen anybody using that equipment for a little while, I would give it a couple of minutes, just kind of like pay attention, see if anyone comes back for it. If after 5 minutes nobody comes back, you're probably good to go. They've probably just forgotten it there. Or you can ask other people in the area, hey, have you seen anybody using this? And either they'll say yes or no, and you can kind of go from there. Tip number 5 is don't hog the equipment. If you're gonna be taking really long breaks or you're having a conversation with someone in between sets, step away from your piece of equipment so that other people can use it while you're not. Tip number 6 is called working in. So let's say there's a piece of equipment that you really want and need to use, maybe because it's important for your exercise order, maybe you're in a hurry and you have to get it done, and someone else is using that piece of equipment, you can ask that person, do you mind if I work in? And that means that when they're resting, you go in and do your sets. You're kind of like alternating sets. Totally okay to ask that kind of thing. It's not weird at all. It just feels a little bit awkward at first. Sometimes the person will say, no, I'm sorry, I really have to just get this done and you can't work in. Most of the time they're gonna say, absolutely, that's fine. Tip number 7 is not to interrupt somebody mid-set. Let's say you get to the gym and you see your bestie doing some squats. Do not, for God's sakes, go up to your bestie and start talking to them while they're squatting. First of all, that rips them out of the zone. They lose count, they kind of lose their form, they lose their flow. Secondly, it's potentially really dangerous. So wait until they're done with their exercise, they re-rack their weight to go talk to your friend. Tip number 8 is just to be mindful of the space around you and not to walk in front of or behind somebody who's doing an exercise. For example, let's say I'm doing kickbacks like this. Do not walk right behind me really close and potentially get me to kick you. That's dangerous for yourself and for the person exercising. Tip number 9 is videoing in the gym. Every gym is going to have different rules about whether you can video in the gym or not. Some of them have a hard rule, no phones, no videos allowed whatsoever. Other gyms like mine are completely open to it. So it's worth asking your gym manager before you start taking videos, what are the rules? If you are going to take a video, try at least to get nobody else in the frame. If you can't do that, if somebody's going to be in your frame, just go ask them, let them know, hey, I'm making a video. This is not going on social media. It's just for my exercise form. Is it okay with you if you're in my frame? And they'll say yes or no. If it is going to go on social media, then you definitely need to get their consent and just let them know, I'm taking a video, it's going on Instagram, do you mind? And they'll either say, yeah, that's totally fine, or they will move out of the way. And tip number 10 isn't so much an etiquette lesson as it is just a general tip, is that you don't have to worry about feeling judged in the gym. Everybody here is on the same path. We're all here to support you, to encourage you, to all be better versions of ourselves. Nobody is watching you, nobody is judging you. We're all here to help. Have fun.